Fine.
Hi,
100%.
Brandon.
Hi, JD.
Thank
Hi,
you for
Tyler.
joining us.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks for having
Oh,
me.
this is so insane.
I know. I remember when you were like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna reach out to Brennan and see if he would want to be on our
I
podcast.
was
And
so
then she
scared.
sent me a voice message screaming because he's in this.
Well, I'm
Okay,
honored to be here.
so we couple housekeeping. Okay, I need to like lower my blood
Absolutely.
pressure right now. I'm so sorry. I'm low-key fangirling, which is so dumb. So I hope you didn't have to pull an all-nighter again, Brandon. How are you feeling? How's your energy this morning?
I'm good. Yeah, this has been really busy. Just trying to get caught up. Had some personal stuff going on.
You're just narrating. Is that like what you've been up to?
Yeah,
I assume so.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That and I got my kid. And we're
Yeah.
gonna go to the pumpkin patch after this. After I get my car buffed out.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, the pumpkin patch. How old is baby now?
he just turned 1.
Happy
oh my
birthday.
gosh! Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. I'll share that with him. He'll,
Yes,
he'll
please
be.
do.
He'll have high blood pressure as well, knowing it's from JB Reese.
No. Okay, Tyler, we already kind of did our intro, but do we want to do
Yes.
another mini intro so it doesn't feel so weird?
I mean, we can. Our intro is kind of cringy, but we can definitely do a little
Sorry,
intro
Brandon.
I'm
here.
here for cringe.
Perfect. You were in the right
My
spot.
epitome.
You found your people, Brandon.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Little Prince. Thank you for being so patient with us. Going back to the Dark Ages was not on my 2025 bingo card, but it happened. Today we have a incredible guest. JV is straight up fangirling. Her cheeks could not be redder.
No.
JV, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would. So we have the incredible Brandon Francis on. And Brandon, I have a whole story I need to tell you here in a minute, okay?
Okay.
But I couldn't be more excited to be actually chatting with you because you were the very first narrator I followed, I found, I researched when I published my very first book. And I was like, this guy someday when I'm in the position to have my books narrated is going to be my guy. So
I'm your guy.
when you're gonna be my
Yeah.
guy at some point
He's gonna be
because
Sure.
I
your
know
Ronin? Wait.
no
He's
no
gonna be your Ronin.
I
I
don't think
hope you
he's gonna
say
be my Ronin, but he's gonna be.
Ronan. Ooh.
I just talked to my husband this morning. I was like, "Don't you think Brandon would be a great bleep?" Because I don't want to spoil nothing.
Ow!
But my husband's like, "Yes." So, anyways, fan, I'm hot right now. I'm so sorry, Brandon.
No, I'm here for this. I'm flattered. My God, I love that. You're from your first published book. Damn.
The-
When did you?
right from the beginning.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
did you find me on social media?
That was like, I want to say it must have been like June, July last year, like 2024, because
Okay.
I published my
Yeah.
very first book in September.
Mhm.
And obviously, it's a dream to have, my books narrated into audio.
I love
So
it.
started researching all that stuff and then came across like your bloopers are so hilarious.
It's just me being cringe, just like this
Well, yeah,
podcast.
but it's so
So
You
relatable.
found your people.
Again,
Yeah. I think it
Okay,
like brings
but
you
we're
to
not here
like
to
such
talk
a
about me.
relatable
is Taylor
place.
trying to talk?
Yeah.
Kurt? I'm sorry, Taylor, but you're back in the Dark Ages. Are you on a
Oh
mountain?
no.
Like it's just
I'm
quality.
an
We got to see you when I'm quality, and you're
yes.
lagging.
So that's a little bit of a housekeeping thing as well. It might lag for you like in the moment. Riverside's really good about putting that all together and like the actual video quality is great. So if it is lagging, I apologize. But I'm in a town of 302 people, so not on a
A
mountain in a
village.
That's
very flat land. Yeah,
A village.
very flat land. Um yes. I don't know. JB, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just saying that I don't really want to talk about me. I want to talk about Brandon because, like,
Yes, let's get into it.
so Brandon, like, how long? Okay, so you don't come from like an acting background, right?
no,
Like
no.
at all.
Wow.
Speech class in 8th grade was like the thing for me. That was about
N-
it.
Nice. How did that go?
Awfully. I did not eighth grade, who knows where they are? And I was trying to be cool, but then I'm like, well, here I am in speech class. Sure, go for it. And I got to bring out a little more of a silly side. We then had these speech competitions, and
Oh,
when I went to, I have the worst memory, and so I forgot lines constantly, and it was cringe. It was very bad, but it helped me, I think, ultimately get over my fear of public speaking,
yeah.
which was huge, and so got some confidence that way, because
Yeah.
get worse than what happened at these speech tournaments in front of all these
Are
people, and
they?
I'm just like,
All these people.
it's, and try to ad lib. It was bad. Was that how?
Improv.
Try it.
No, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, so yeah, these like classes, are they like in front of like school assembly or is it just like in front of the class itself?
It was an elective. So it was like
Oh,
its own class for, 45 to 55 whatever minutes during middle school. And then
Middle
nice.
in
school. That's
eighth
that's a lot of
grade.
pressure.
Yeah.
I had to take a speech class in college, like as a general ed class, and I hated it.
Oh yeah, there was
Hated
that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you give a
Yeah.
little presentation. But by
Ugh.
then I'm like, I can do this. Just
But so
more
then
confident.
how did you get into narrating then? Like what was the spark for you that was like, yeah, this is what I want to do? And then more specifically, because I know you're most famous for my world, like in the romance realm, right? Like I
Hmm.
just listened to Fight by Sloane St. James, which
Hey,
brilliant, brilliant, loved it.
that was a
You did
good
the
book,
Good
yeah.
Girl Effect. Like you're doing big ones.
Hmm.
I've been so freaking fortunate. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane. The growth just since 2024, the beginning of 2024 is when it happened with creating this TikTok and finally tapping into social media and book talk and bookstagram. Because for me, well, let me start from the beginning. I was working in a 9 to 5. I had worked in so many different industries, and to be honest, it was just depression. It was
Yeah.
anxiety. It was just miserableness and this feeling of going hollow because I
Yeah.
had no creative outlet really and no
Hmm.
direction in my life. And I knew I needed to just do something to get out of that. And so I was looking and I'm, hey, you're ACX, all right. I see some TikToks about like, hey, become a voice actor and make money. And I'm like, come on, real like I doubt it's gonna take a lot of work. I had a realistic mindset going into it and expectation.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's what made the difference between many people who think it's like a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I had registered on ACX, which is Audible's platform, and
Yeah.
I had heard about all of these scams that were happening. So when I woke up the next day to an offer, I'm like, "Oh, here's the scam. This is what I knew it. All right." And no, it wasn't a scam. It was an author actually reaching out to me with an offer. I'm like, I thought I was going to be auditioning for like 2 months before I even
Yeah, isn't that the usual
Yeah,
process?
usually like you audition, you
Oh,
audition, you audition,
that's
you
what
fail,
Carmen
you
said.
fail. But within one day, an author had reached out, Shannon Handel, for Cash is King, which was my first book, and I went for it. And so I'm like, okay, I love this, and things got real quick because I thought I would have some time to better learn the intricacies of editing and all of this because I
yeah.
was just putting my demos out. So it got real. I dove onto LinkedIn wherever I could to try to contact professionals in the industry, and I just started just trying to rack people's brain about how I can best do this and output a really good book because it's my first one. And I must have spent 60 hours just refining that one until, I mean, it was
I
probably like an
bet.
8-hour book, but it just really kickstarted. Then it just was slow growth for about a year and a half, that was more realistic. I'm like, see, this is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
That seems
And
right.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, my other fault was thinking that LinkedIn was the social media for professionals.
Yeah.
It's not. LinkedIn's a joke.
No.
Really?
Yeah, no,
It
LinkedIn
was.
is
I thought TikTok was a joke. I'm like, that's the Gen Z platform. I'm not gonna come on. I'm not gonna get on there. I had no idea. Clearly. So when
yeah, because you blew up.
I yeah. Well, so the first one I made was because after failing on these auditions, finally an author was like, "Hey, do you want some feedback? Like, you didn't make it, but you want feedback?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." Like, no author gives you feedback. You just get the
Hmm.
rejection email.
Yeah.
So, they said in so many words, kind words, that I essentially was boring. I'm like, "Oh, maybe that's
Oh.
because I'm doing these like broody characters because I know I can be crazy and wacky And so I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I created a TikTok and I started doing like ad libbing for, like a Puss in Boots, all these animated characters that are just going to really like explore my range. And I
Mhm.
accidentally tapped into a fan base for Lego Monkey Kid, which is this amazing animation.
I seen the
Oh, you
Nice.
so that it was amazing. It got a lot of views and everything, but it then took over my algorithm and it
Yeah,
bottlenecked my views. So if I wanted to switch to actual narrated content, the algorithm was gonna be like, "What are
nobody
you
was
doing? You're
seeing.
switching now. Like this is
Mm.
you now. You're stuck here." So I said, "Screw that. I'm gonna start a new account." And January 2024, and I said, "Hey, this is me. I'm a narrator. This is what I do. Happy to have you," and blah blah blah. And it blew up. And then everyone, Tiffany P. Reeds was in there, like Laura Horowitz, like it reached the
Wow.
target audience.
Yeah,
Um, and then it just went from there.
yeah, and you're doing, like, big ones now,
And now I'm doing big ones. Yeah.
like, big ones, who oh my gosh, see, this is the worst, obviously, I'm, like, the narrator, and I forgot who the author is for The Good Girl Effect.
Sarah Kate. So,
Sarah
yeah,
Kate, thank
before
you very
Goodfellas
much.
yeah, before that, she was my big break in a sense because I think I had maybe 6 books under my belt when I got Madam, when I
Yes.
landed that one, and the reason for that was because we had done this podcast, and, it was a last second read. It was a friend of mine that I made in the narrator community. She's like, "Hey, so and so canceled. I need a buddy, a narrator buddy for this reading for Sarah Kate." And I wasn't a reader going into this. Reading has always been difficult for me, but
Yeah.
somehow when I'm performing, I'm able to read. So I
Really?
didn't know who Sarah Kate was. I don't know any names. And so I
It's probably a
Googled her.
good thing.
So I Googled her and I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm at my 9 to 5. I'm gonna leave right now. Hey, gotta go, boss." And then I left and I made it, and then the podcast happened. I thought I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I was so nervous. I was sweating profusely, but, um apparently, I made enough of an impression for Sarah to really consider me for that book,
yeah, well, it worked, right?
and it worked. I remember the moment, and it's
What
just
was that like winning the lottery?
it it was
Yeah.
mind-blowing. Um, I was on the toilet at the time because who isn't when they're on their phone?
Yep.
And then I was watching probably YouTube, and then an email came in, boop, and I see the notification, and it's from High Gravity Productions, and they're like, "Madam," "Kate." And I immediately knew, I'm like, "Oh my god, like, okay, this is gonna be an audition, clearly, because they're not gonna just
Mhm.
choose me, like, it's gonna be an audition." No, they were like straight up, "Hey, Sarah wants you for this." I'm like, "Oh, shit." Like, there's
Instantly
like,
backed up.
Yeah. No, everything released.
yeah, right, I was the easiest shit of my life. Um, you can keep
Oh
this
my
in, you
god.
don't have to edit this out. I don't care. I have
Oh, no,
no
I'm leaving
shame.
everything in.
I'm a romance narrator.
You've lost privileges, Brandon, everything is staying in now.
Yeah.
So I stared at I went to my computer screen and I relooked at it because I got that millennial thing. I don't email from my phone. It's just like I don't want to accidentally just button mash and then send something else or it autocorrects. Just like I'm like just keyboard, just that visually. So then I was staring at my screen for probably like 20 minutes, just in shock still.
That's
Gotta
And
make them wait.
incredible.
yeah, what do I?
So gotta make them wait, can't
Yeah.
respond right
Well,
away.
no,
Oh,
'cause
yeah, you
I
gotta
know
play
I
cool.
respond. What do I say? Like I don't want to
Yeah.
so
Just thumbs up emoji.
right, just passive aggressive. Ah.
That's okay, so I know you work with High Gravity a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
they're amazing.
Heather and Jeff, I know they are very, very nice people. But do you also work with other production companies? Do you do your own production? How does that work?
Good question. Absolutely. I'm open to working with pretty much everyone. The big ones, the most common one I've been working with would be Lyric, and One Night Stand Studios, and then obviously High Gravity.
Okay.
I did one for Pinup recently, Blue
Oh,
Nose, and then publishers Podium. I work for them a lot as well.
oh,
I'm
very cool.
fortunate to just have an array that have wanted to work with me and continued to work with me because we have good We established really good rapport.
Yeah. That's really cool. So I know that you obviously a lot of romance, but you also do like sci-fi fantasy stuff, right?
Mm.
I think it was last year we did like Lemon's listening library where you were like live performing little snippets of authors' works.
Was there an accent that just came out? What?
Oh,
What?
She's
Like,
German.
I'm German.
are you?
Originally, yeah. But you know what? Like I've lived in California for more than half my
Oh,
life.
you're here too.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
but I'm like, it shouldn't yeah, it still comes through. Sorry about that.
No,
I can like really bring out the German accent if you need me to. I can talk like this the whole time if you like.
I
No
love it.
problem.
Mm. Dude, have a German accent coming up. I need to
You
soak
should be
in.
a
Need
narrator.
to soak
It's
in it.
so gross.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. And now I forgot my question.
So to your point, so my voice originally found its niche in romance, but
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
want.
the whiskey, sultry.
It's been described as honeyed whiskey or like
Yes.
velvety, just something. It's all yeah. It's I love it. I love it. I'm like I'll take it. So it's found its niche in romance, but I didn't want to be typecast in
Okay.
romance. I know that's where a lot of the work is, but I wanted to explore more and open my range up because I know I have a lot of crazy characters that I can do, and you can't always bring those to the table on a romance book
That's very
because
Yeah.
true.
yeah, you're not gonna have some guy. Cammy Haven's like we joke about this character that she can do because she can also do voices. She's a fellow amazing female narrator who's also one of the ones other than the capers who lent me her booth during the fire or after. Um, and she does this voice like Murph, hey Murph, like she can do it so well. So we do crazy voices, and I really want to bring those to the table. But in romance, imagine you listening to just some sultry voice, and then it's like this side character, but then that character has his own standalone in the future. So you got to make sure he sounds sexy. But then you give him this voice, it's not really gonna
Yeah.
go well.
Yeah.
Sounds like Wazowski. Uh, so
Yeah.
not gonna happen. So, but fantasy, you could
You can do all that.
depending, you
Oh,
can bring
yeah.
a voice like that into fantasy.
Yeah.
You gotta blend them and do a romantasy.
So that's I think my sweet spot. I have the
Mhm.
range, but my niche of the romance and you combining them exactly
And you're like, that's where I want to live. Romantasies.
perfect. Or
Yeah. I
yeah,
believe
Mhm.
that.
I haven't gotten too many sci-fi. I had one, but it hasn't released. It's been over a year. I'm gonna check in with the author to see what's going on there. But
Oh,
with
yeah.
Andy actually. So yeah, we'll see. But sci-fi is up there as well. I know that it's similar in fantasy in that there's going to be tons of vocabulary. You're going to need a whole list for pronunciations.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, that fit like the world building, and then they come up with their own
Yeah,
languages, and the names are so
yeah, yeah.
funky.
Mhm.
What's your prep process when when you get a new project?
Right.
Like, do you pre-read the book? Do you annotate? Like, how do you prep? What do you do?
Up to this point, I have read the book and highlighted all my lines and had a whole character sheet myself. But
Okay.
as I've booked out, you realize you don't have that much time to
Yeah.
do, and especially because I'm trying to find a better balance with my work and life because I want to spend more time with my kiddo, and so you have to cut back somewhere. And
Yeah.
it is possible you can hire a prepper. You can, um,
Oh, that's a thing?
yeah, yeah, you can hire a prepper, or you can try to have the author also like contribute towards that or the author will sometimes prep themselves even through a production company they'll have the author do that because it's actually like for duets for instance
Yeah.
depending on the deal that production company has made with the union because I'm union now it is required to
Good
have a
for
prep
you.
manuscript um,
Yeah.
and then I know many narrators who prefer to just go in raw and not know really anything and they just start
Who
narrating.
doesn't like raw? I had to throw that in there. Sorry,
Or you
guys.
I knew it was
can't
coming.
help it.
Sorry about that. I should have warned you.
That
He threw that to
I did
you.
it.
That was
It was a
generous.
softball,
Okay.
Brandon,
Wrist
in
right
all
elbow.
honesty.
So yeah, they like to just go and just raw dog it. And but there's pros and cons to everything because if you do that, you're probably going to get to page 200 depending. Hopefully authors don't do this, but then you
Yeah.
realize that character has an accent. And now you're like,
Yeah.
well, I just wasted,
Oh,
right? So it's a balance
Yeah.
between like, because you want to justify the author and their work, and you want to make sure that you can completely understand the theme of the book, the characters, and
Yeah.
but it is possible to do that, hopefully by having like the author fill out a character sheet. That makes it
Yeah.
so much easier. Like, okay, are there accents? What is
Yeah.
this character like? Who is this character to you? Just a real quick paragraph or like a couple of sentences. And then I usually like to prep at least if I'm running short on time, like the first chapter I'll read and I can get the theme and the tone of the book.
Yeah.
And then from there, I can go in and it's just this balance between saving time, but also understanding what you're doing. And
Yeah.
then more of the
mhm.
nuance, because there's not, I don't think that there's any difference. And most people, a lot of people will say that, when I experience it the first time, I get to portray those raw emotions. But if I prepped it, I know what's coming up. The offset to that is like, well, you're an actor. So, even you knowing what's coming up, like you're supposed to portray those emotions anyway. And then if you
Yeah.
have it,
Either
God
way.
forbid, like
Yeah.
the worst thing is if you have this super emotional moment and you messed up one word and now you have it as your
Mm.
pickup
I did
packet
it
coming
again
in. I
and
have had
again.
recently because I had a spree of like 5 books that were all just heart wrenchers,
Oh.
and I had a pickup packet come back, and I was like really in my feels for it. I cry constantly in that booth, and it was during one of those scenes, and I'm like, God damn it! Like I got to get back into that character in that moment, just because I maybe missed like an S on the end of one word or something like that.
Oh
But
God. Yeah.
that's what we're paid for. We're actors. We got to get back into it. And but it was like just such a heart-wrenching moment. So I am ADHD. What was my point I was making? Basically,
It sounds like you do various things to prep.
yeah, it's
Don't
right.
you?
So
Yeah.
there's yeah. So it's like, okay, you want to experience raw or like you find a balance.
Yeah.
Um, because you want to do the book justice, you want to do the characters justice.
Sure.
And that's what I was going to say. The nuances are really in the surrounding context to each dialogue, and
Yeah.
especially if you're doing a duet, you're pretty much reading the book in the entirety anyway, depending on where
Yeah.
your character lines are scattered,
Yeah.
because you need to know how to perform each line as you go. So every line you're
Mhm.
reading the
Yeah.
context around it.
So can I ask you then, when you're recording a duet, you're obviously not in the booth with the other person who is duet narrating with you, right?
Right.
So you're kind of like, do you actually record yourself reading the whole thing out loud, and then you basically cut out the parts that aren't yours, or how does that work?
Oh, no, so yeah, you just read your lines. So if let's say it's
Mhm.
the female POV, if it's that way, it's structured that way, and then you have just some scattered lines in there. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
reading the context of like what like just not narrating, but just reading like the
Okay.
lines that she has said leading up to it, because I'm like, well, how does my character deliver this line? And usually
Makes
there's
sense.
tags in the beginning or the end, like he said menacingly.
Yes.
And so you look for those. And because even if you had prepped the whole book, you're gonna forget. And so you're gonna have to do it again anyway. And so this is
Yeah.
again part of the
Mhm.
saving time because you're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I look for. I'm like, what are the tags? What are they feeling in this moment? And then what's the
Yeah.
context leading up to it? And so that's why, as much as we love duet, it is a punch to the wallet in a sense, because the longer you take to record, that's essentially your rate going like this, like shrinking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, as an author, I mean, duet is my very favorite, right? And then I guess the next would be dual, and then, my least favorite would be single, especially if I have a dual POV romance. Like, I want that, and I want to hear the chemistry in the voice, and I want all that. But I also happen to know, because, I had to research that stuff, that is the more expensive. Like, the duet narration is,
Oh
that's
yeah.
why we're
No.
saving up. Um, so Brandon, I have to tell you, there are so many stories I wanted to tell you. But so the one thing, when I decided I'm gonna shoot my shot, because I had reached out to Tyler, I was like, I really want to ask Brandon Francis to come on, and
We were
she's like,
on pod when you were like, "I'm just gonna." You had it typed up, and I was like, "Have you sent it?" And you're like,
no, I
"No, I
was
haven't
so
sent it."
scared.
I'm like, "Just send it. What's the worst he can
Thank you,
say?
Tyler.
No,
Just
flip
send it.
off."
Wait, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
bite
just send it.
Oh
hard.
my god.
Yeah,
And then you got back to me like right away, and I
Absolutely.
freaked the
yeah,
fuck out. I was like,
freaked out.
Tyler.
Yeah, she was
But
so
I was
excited,
so
and I was
excited.
like,
That's amazing.
"That's so incredible. Who? because I actually have never listened to an audiobook.
Never
I
heard
am
one.
a very much physical I've never listened to one, no. I know, which is, yeah, a lot of people get thrown off by it. I
Mm.
find I'm a mom of an 18-month-old, so my peace is sitting in my bed with a physical book and just, like, turning off the world and just reading,
Power to it.
and
Yeah.
I think that I wanna get into audiobooks, but I'm scared that it's just gonna take over, and then I'm gonna lose that, like,
It
little precious moment.
doesn't, it doesn't.
I know
You listen
everyone
while
has
you
said that, and
drive
Yeah.
or you
I
do
don't listen to
chores.
anything when I drive. I filter my thoughts when I drive. I
Ew.
deal with my
Mhm.
brain
No,
when I
don't. I
drive.
don't want anything to do with my brain, so I need to constantly be
Escapism.
inundated with, yeah, something
Yeah,
else because it's just not healthy. But, what I
for
meant to
me, that's what I do, that's my therapy.
the quiet.
I do yeah, like, even, like, my dog passed away 2 weeks ago,
Ah,
and
shit. Sorry.
it's hard to sit that's okay, she was, like, 11 and diabetic, and she chose to go, so it was her decision, but, um, like, even sitting with those thoughts, like, it's difficult, but for me, like, I have to sit with it, or else I'm gonna shove it in the back and never deal with it. So I use my driving time to just deal with
Very
my
healthy.
thoughts, and then yeah,
Mm.
therapy. Um, okay, but I have a question for Brendan, if I can, like, scooch in here for a second.
Yes, yes, sorry.
That's okay. I'm having such a fun time just, like, listening to you guys go back and forth and just, like, learning. It was the same thing when we had Carmen on. We had Carmen Chantel
Oh,
on,
Carmen.
and
Yeah, yeah.
she was so, just, like, the way that she described things, like, it was like I was in school,
It
but,
was
like,
very
fun school.
educational.
Like, it was super educational, and it was so interesting to learn. She was our first narrator on, so it's kinda cool talking to you because, like, while you're explaining things, I'm not just like
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Like, I have a little bit of a background, but you mentioned in the beginning that you didn't read before you got into narration. So I'm curious, you obviously have to read for your job now, but do you actually enjoy reading aside from that? Or is it still like you're just reading the books that you're recording?
It has always been, that unless a book is just it's super just really grips me, then I will not be
Mm-hmm.
able to sit still and read it. I have always been twitchy growing up. I could not sit still, very antsy for various reasons, and, so reading in general has just always been extremely difficult for me. So I have
No, that's
not been
fair.
a reader leading into this, and now having read all these books, and I love all of them. They're amazing. Th I honestly don't have time to even personally read for myself, even if I wanted to. I probably have
Yeah,
time to
that's kind of
read
what
the
I
books
thought.
that I need to perform, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah. What about the kids' books? You probably read a lot of those
you know, like, professionally, no, but I'd be open to it, but for my kiddo, yeah, no, we
for
we
your
have, like, a
son.
whole
Yeah.
bookshelf for him. Yeah, yeah, we got this little hobbit hole, and it's
Oh,
a bookshelf,
Oh,
and
that's so
sweet.
cute.
it's cute, yeah, yeah,
Tyler and I were messaging kind of back and forth about how we wanted to approach our chat with you because I had just recently read, or maybe it was a reel by a female narrator, and she had made a really good point. And she said that, look, I may narrate romance books, but that doesn't mean that I invite you to come into my DMs and ask me to like
Mhm.
do spicy anything for you, right? Like
yeah,
that is not, I'm not inviting you to essentially harass me in my DMs and stuff. And I thought that was a
yeah,
really good point. And Tyler and I talked about it because we
Yeah.
obviously talk about harassment, all these things, very much a woman centered kind of conversation, which makes sense, right? But then Tyler was like, "Oh, we're gonna be really respectful to Brandon." I'm like, "I don't know if I can promise that because my personality is awful."
no,
Um,
yourself, absolutely, I'm here for it.
and I was like, "But we wanted to ask you, like, how do you does that happen to you, and how do you feel about it? Like, how does it impact you personally, right? Because you're a persona when you're narrating, but then you're
Mhm.
also like just Brandon, the guy who has a kiddo and he needs to go grocery shopping and
Mm.
has a life and all of that." So,
I like to think I'm the same person, just it translates, well,
yeah,
and I
Mhm.
think I've set some great boundaries just even through my
yeah,
videos and
yeah.
expectations that I'm almost disappointed, but I've never received nudes. I've never been hit up.
Oh,
No one has
good.
actually hit me up in any inappropriate manner at all. I think there's been a couple that are just like, "Hey, you're pretty," and I'm just like, uh, like I'm not gonna engage with that. Like, it's all right.
Thanks.
Uh, They're
Thumbs
just
up
like, "I'm not
emoji.
even gonna engage with that, it's whatever, I don't want it to go anywhere." Yeah, no, but, like, if someone also just says, "Hey, we have a, like, we want a demo, we love your voice, and we were gonna have this book coming up, we wanna, like, do some marketing stuff for it," like, absolutely, I'm for that.
Yeah.
And, like, there should be
Mhm.
growls, so if it's professional. But if it's like,
Sure.
"Ooh, can you send my friends a growly message, and maybe I'll pay you," like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna engage with that. So
No.
I'm not your dancing monkey. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt I'll ever want to have a Patreon and just get
Right,
into
like an
this
OnlyFans
weird.
type thing for
Yeah, yeah.
voices.
I just
For
yeah.
voice.
Well, I'm sure that's a thing.
Oh, it is.
I'm sure that's a
I
thing.
literally
Oh, yeah. It
Yeah.
I've never thought
I
about it
know.
until this very moment.
Yeah. I just
I mean,
there's that parasocial, boundary,
yeah,
and it gets
Mhm.
easily crossed when you open yourself up to things like that, and I respect the
yeah,
hustle, and we all need money.
yes,
So I'm not
Mhm.
judging it. I just don't want that in my life as an extra stressor because
totally.
I am at a point in this career now where I am making enough to where I don't need to rely on that.
Yeah, that's
That's incredible.
good actually, and so you actually said that you've booked out, like, a whole year, right?
I was up to August 2026, booked out
Wow.
with 1 to 3 books a week. Some things
Holy
recently have
cow.
shifted, so I have like a couple of openings. But yeah, it's it's been insane. That's why I'm
That
not
That
on
is
social media. I post
crazy.
maybe once a month because I'm so busy and I'm in that booth, or yeah, I'm pinging, I'm dealing with emails and it's a lot of work, and
yeah,
like to be fair, it's stress, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I would so much prefer this, and I love this over returning to the 9 to 5 any day
yeah, yeah,
because
100%.
I'm working for myself essentially. I'm working for authors, I'm working for production companies. You have that pressure, but it's very collaborative
yeah,
as opposed to being
Mhm.
micromanaged.
yeah,
And
for
just it's
sure.
not this is so rewarding. It's not soul sucking. It heals the soul. And I never
I love
thought
you.
this would be my dream job, but it absolutely is.
That is yeah, I love hearing that. I mean, I relate to that from, like, the book writing perspective because I too have, like, an 8 it never ends kind of career
Yeah.
that is,
Mhm.
it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work, and it can be really soul-sucking at times, and so, that creative outlet, like the writing, because my husband always tells me because as you know, as a creator and somebody who's, you're out on your own there, it's a constant it never ends, right? It's not a 9 to 5. It's like you have to market, you have the business side of things, like the back office stuff. And my husband's always like,
Mhm.
Does writing books still bring you joy? Like, I don't want this to turn into something that is a chore for you."
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
"No, there is nothing." I mean, as stressful and exhausting as it can be at times, I would quit my job in a heartbeat if somebody told
Mhm.
me, "We'll pay you to write books full time." So, I completely get that side of it. It's so fulfilling,
Yeah. Yeah.
so fulfilling.
We all need that creative outlet, I think.
Yes, we
Some of us
do.
in particular, like, I
100%.
didn't know how much of a streak of it is in my blood, but, like, looking back, certain family members, they have, even if they didn't ultimately
Yeah.
create a business out of it, but they have these creative sides to them, and I think it's like this genetic streak in me, and
Yeah,
it's this need, and just the need to express yourself in various ways, you with your writing, me with my voice. Make
yeah,
feeling I haven't been heard most of my life, or I haven't been able to express how I truly feel, and so this medium where I'm able to do that, and,
yeah,
like, Carmen, she's extremely engaging as a speaker, and I know
Mhm.
that she's also had, an interesting past as well, and we come from, just rough experiences, and I think that allows us to be more of an engaging narrator automatically
yeah,
without having that theater background. I don't think anyone who has, I want to say a silver spoon, but just like who has had an easy life, so to speak, up to this point, they haven't had many rough decisions to make. I don't think
Mhm.
they would be able to step in and just go for it and be
yeah,
engaging almost like just pick it up real quick. They would probably have to go through some acting classes.
yeah,
And then it's because it really is, it's what it is it's empathy,
yeah.
and you're
Yes.
channeling that. And so I feel, what do they say? They say, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
part of that's true, but I know I've watched a lot of Brandon Sanderson's, Camera Panda YouTube channel, which was amazing. The big fantasy writer, he's got, like, this free lectures he puts out online, and he challenges that, and he's like, "No," and you can use, like, James Horner, I think his name is, from that, Last Wish, Puss in Boots movie. He's, like, the
Yeah.
perfect villain because he
Mhm.
had a silver spoon, and he's trying to find things to complain about, just total
Yes.
narcissist.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but, like, it's the people who have been broken, and whether or not they've channeled that or, like, dealt with that, like you talking about, Tyler, you in the car and you process, and that's how you process. I feel like there's been many
Mhm.
times I have not been able to process despite being very psychologically oriented. I have a psych degree. Um, and I feel that this is a medium that allows me to channel that in a safe
Yeah.
way in my booth, and that's why I'm okay with these I love these heart-wrenching books because it allows me to explore deeper into myself as a form of catharsis, but
Yes.
it's to
Mhm.
convey that in a way where other people are now affected in the same they're feeling my pain.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think catharsis was exactly the word I was thinking of. Like, it literally it's like you putting yourself in someone else's shoes as you narrate this, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's the same for me when I write, and it's like, okay, I'm taking on a different persona, and how do I channel that
Mhm.
properly and sensitively, and yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
That is such a, super insightful. I think that's awesome.
And I think Carmen also said something very similar when she was on the
Yeah.
podcast. It takes sometimes broken people for other people to feel the way they want them to feel, right? Like like as a broken person myself, probably listening to your books, I'd probably be like, I feel everything. Just because there's a connection us broken people have, you know? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of us. There's a lot
Yeah,
of us on this
yeah,
planet. So
good.
you organically create that connection with your listener, which I think is crazy. I was actually going to ask, and you kind of already touched on it, is when you're in that booth, do you find that that is your like your calm? You're just like you're in your element because you said it in normal everyday life. You're antsy ADD. I'm the exact same way. When I'm creating content or when I'm doing my stuff for my shop, that's when I'm calm. That's when I've found that like harmony of just like everything's shut up and I'm just able to be me. Do you find you're the same when you're in the booth?
It's a great question. It's funny because I've been thinking about that recently where I'm like, well, maybe the reason I even something that really drove me was maybe not so much the creativity, but just this need to
Mhm.
be in a quiet space, literally a quiet space. You have
Literally.
soundproofing, you have acoustics to
Stand up coffin.
yeah, yeah, to sit with your emotions and process them that
Yeah.
way, and, like, to your point,
Yeah.
I was gonna elaborate, and you elaborated for me, it's not about just sharing your pain, but doing so in a way where the listener who may not have such a space, but maybe they're in their car listening to an audiobook, or they're so blocked off emotionally that I through my words and how I convey them and act, and then the authors, the way that they write, and me performing in that way, and so it creates this perfect storm of emotions that hopefully can unlock them as they listen, and
Mhm.
allow
Yeah.
them to then feel, like you said, emotions that maybe they wouldn't have felt otherwise, and and I feel like it can change lives. And for the better, because you can't bury your emotions for too long, or it will come out in
No.
maladaptive ways, and not
Yes.
it's just really
Mhm.
not healthy. And so
So
it
true.
for me, just with that psychological aspect coming into this,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. I see us as we're providing therapy in a sense, especially with heart-wrenching
100%.
books, but also, I mean, some people just need an escape and just want some they just
From this
want some
world?
smut, and maybe they're not fulfilled in that sense, and, we
Yeah.
provide that too.
Bonus. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree.
I I was just gonna say that, like, I think that's what authors see in you. When they hear your voice, they hear your audition or whatever you've submitted, and they go, "Nope, that's it. that's probably exactly what they get from you, is exactly what you just described.
I love that. Thank you. Try
Yeah,
to
of
put my
course. I feel it. Like, I we've s we started off, like, kinda silly and stuff like that, and now we've gotten into, like, deeper subjects, but I feel like, emotionally tied, like a tie running all across the screen,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So I think that I don't know. That's why I think that authors hear your voice and they go, "Nope, that's it.
that's the
Don't
one.
need to look any further." Yep. You have emotion, you have empathy, you have charisma, you have, just genuine you, yourself, right? Your voice. It's your voice at the end of the day. You might change an octave or an accent, but it's still you.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah. I don't know where I'm going
No,
with that, but that's my piece.
Now I'm gonna be like, okay, no, I have no more questions.
I just wanted to get one more thing in before we ran out of time.
No, I have to say, so I know you're kind of like getting out there. You're becoming one of the bigger ones. I don't
Mhm.
know if you were aware, but you should be aware that you're really making an impact on people. Last week I have a book club with amazing, amazing people here in my little town. Um, and we were talking, we had read Caught Up, which obviously I'm sure you've heard about. It was narrated by Teddy Hamilton, who's a big name, obviously.
and Casey Hallowell.
And no, I'm sure everybody's heard of Teddy Hamilton.
Well, look,
So
Casey too. She's
Except for
amazing.
me.
I met her at APAC. She's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
so we were talking about like the book and then the audio and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
so I call her my book club boss. She's like the founder, Chelsea. She was talking about, she's like, "Oh no, but there's somebody out there who is like he's getting big, and I've been hearing his audiobooks and stuff, and his name is like Brandon Fraser or something like that." And it's so but she was just like
Change approved.
hyping you up. And I was thinking about it, and a couple days later, and I was like, and I need to pull up the text messages. I texted her randomly and I was like, Chels, the other day at book club, you were talking about, this narrator that you really, really like. Quick question. I said, at book club, when you were chatting about narrators, you mentioned one who was up and coming. Did you mean Brandon Francis? And she's like, yes, he's getting attention right now. And I was like, he's coming onto our podcast on Saturday. And she's like,
Yeah.
and I got permission from her to read you these texts. Okay. Um,
Oh, okay.
She's this was so she's like, "I have a mean crush on him. Been following him for a long time. I'd choke. He's so pretty. LMAO. He looks like my husband." And I was like, "I may have to read him these texts." And she's like, "I give you permission, honey." And then I was telling her that I was listening to Fight right now.
Mm.
Because she had sent me some Audible credits, and she's like, "Oh, he's so good in that." And then last night she texted me and said, "Have fun tomorrow with my narrator book boyfriend." And so I was like, "You're so okay with me telling him you about the text?" And she's like, "Yes." So you have fans out there. I don't know if
Mind
that is
blowing.
like as an author, I love hearing about how my books impact
Yeah.
other people and readers, and I figured you'd appreciate knowing that
I
you
do.
have fans
Thank you.
out there.
It's
So
it's so mind blowing. Just again, like
yeah,
how just the growth in the last year.
yeah.
And like some of these events too. I just came from Villains and Vixens, which was amazing. It was the first
Yes.
event, and it was so organized, and my first big event. And the only reason I heard about it is because all these authors were reaching out, and even the event runners, and they're like, "Yeah, we have fans. They want you here." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
go. Let's do it." They're
Is
like
that
last second, and I was just like,
how
"Oh,
does
let's
that
do it."
feel? Isn't that, like, surreal?
It is. It is,
Yeah.
'cause I just
Pretty
I
cool.
didn't I knew I had potential for something, um,
Yeah.
for maybe many things, from the 9 to 5, and I knew I wasn't exploring that enough, and so
Yeah.
pushing into this industry, I'm giving it my all, and you hope it pans out, but you never
Yeah.
know, and, here I am.
Here you are.
It's
I know.
it's been amazing. So thank you for reading
It's
that.
Did you go to
You're welcome.
do you wanna say something to Chelsea Hall?
No, say
Give
something
her
to
a
the
little
book
voice note?
grubbers. It's actually our
The book
3rd
grubbers.
anniversary next month for the book club, and we were talking about that, and I was like, "I wonder if I could get Brandon to give a shout out to the book grubbers. I think they'd dig that."
Shout out. Well, thank you so much for being a fan of mine and for texting JB these naughty things. I didn't know I had a a doppelganger in your husband. So hey,
Apparently you do.
Good for you. No, but thank you so much. I'm so flattered, and honored to have you guys as fans and to support my work and the authors I work for. It means the world to me.
Thank you, Brandon, I appreciate it. We're gonna make a magic clip out of this, and then we'll have to send it to them on their 3rd
Yes.
anniversary. Chelsea, guess what?
Yes. My cheeks my cheeks literally hurt. I've been smiling this whole time.
It
I
it has
I
to.
think this is my favorite episode.
I we can't put that out there, but I
We
agree.
got a purple elephant that one, but this was
Yeah.
Brandon, what's your, like, next big project? Oh, no spoilers, obviously. Do you have to sign NDAs?
Yeah.
Is that, like, a thing?
I did for one book, and I think it's
Yeah.
mainly because the author didn't quite understand this space, and
Mhm.
the trust I
Mm.
think amongst narrators because we're all I mean we're all very trustful, very professional. We're not gonna do anything that would like compromise the integrity of your book. Share your manuscript. None of that. It's
Right.
well you hope so. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's only been one book where I did that. But in regard to just big books, um, coming let me look at my schedule because I'm just going as I'm going.
Like, a lot.
That is so crazy. I love to see people like you find your place. Like, for me personally, I've tried so many things on social media. Been the fit girl, been the cook girl, been doing all these
Oh
different
yeah.
places, and I never quite found where I fit. And I dived into this book community. One day I read a book and I was like, hey, and I wasn't a reader. Like the year before 2024, I read one book in a year, and I've got 65 something this year that I've read, like, and it's just because I found a book and I fell in love with it and I just kept reading, and then I posted it, I was like, "Hey, I like this book, you might too," and then I found this amazing community, and then I found her, well, I don't know which side she's on, but
I'm here.
I found JV. Yeah, I'm over here, uh, and, like, we're, like, in real life besties, we just went to Vegas
That's
together,
awesome.
like, last
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
and we have a podcast together, and, like, it's just when you find where you belong,
Yeah.
there's, like, something so, like, magical about it. And it could be so stupid because 'cause you're, like, in this big world, this, like, little pocket you've just found that you're just like, "I'm just feel so at home here, and everything is great." Like, yeah, there's, like, drama because like, everything needs drama, is listening to a book, reading a book, like, all this bullshit, right? Like, because,
But yeah,
we always have to have something to complain about, right? We're human. Um But you just find this, like, community of, like, just authors and narrators and bookstagrammers and readers and all that stuff, and it's just, like, you're just home. You're
absolutely.
just,
I
like,
didn't know these were my people
in
either.
your happy
Yeah,
place.
yeah. No, and that's
Yeah.
that's the other aspect too. Is it's not just a creative outlet for me. I have. It's been very hard to have friends and keep friends in my life.
Yes.
And when I found this community, like, that was a whole other aspect I didn't expect out of it. It was just how collaborative it is. Because
Mhm.
I thought you going into it, it would be cutthroat, it's acting. But in this regard, and to audiobooks, it's not. It is so collaborative. It's disheartening to see, especially on threads, which I just don't even touch anymore, really. Authors go at each other's throats, but narrators,
Yeah.
we're family. And when you go
Yeah.
to, these conventions too, you like, "Okay, I know their personality from socials, but what are they like in person?" And you think there's disconnect
Mhm.
and divide. There's not. It is
They're just
such
like
an
that?
easy transition, and you're like, "It's you!" Like, and then you hug it out, and you're friends, and you grab a drink together, you all go to, like, a lunch and like at Villains and
That's
Vixens, and,
cool.
it
Yeah.
is life-changing, and I did not
Yeah.
expect that from this and to find this community. I didn't know there was a community out there, and that's why when I finally tapped into it, I was just, like, mind blown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the Threads drama, which I don't quite
It used to
understand.
be such a great place, and now it's just so toxic.
It is, but it's not something I engage with, and I don't know if it's a generational thing. I'm a millennial, so I wanna write my books. I want people to be happy with them, and because it brings me joy, I don't want the toxicity or the drama with it.
Mm.
But I still very much just find the community with the readers and narrators, just the whole bookish world, the content creators and
Mhm.
all the other creatives, right? Like the bookish merch people and all of that. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty cool. So what's your schedule
I was
like?
gonna say, so what it's well, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But the books that I would like to touch on that recently came out, People Watching by Hannah
Yeah.
Barton Young, huge. Yeah, I had
Huge.
huge. The
Giant.
What?
When is that releasing?
It came out, it's out now.
Holy
It came
shit.
out. Yeah,
One of my favorite
That's crazy.
YouTubers just talked about that
oh my
book,
god.
and I was like, gotta
Yeah,
get it.
Oh, and then well, now
Well, now
you
I'm just gonna
really
listen to it.
gotta well, now you have to listen to it. May have to
I'm gonna have to get an Audible credit
that's your
and listen to
audiobook.
a
Okay,
version.
let's do it. I was so nervous. That was my first live directed session for a Big 5 publisher, especially. It was Penguin
what's
Random.
live directed?
So basically, Penguin, they have this like a director, and they go through much like this, like a Zoom or something, and they're listening to me as I'm narrating and giving direction
Oh.
and just saying, "Hey, you missed this word," and that way there's less for their engineers to have to do. And in case I need pronunciation in Russian or whatever it is, they'll be there to help fill in the blanks as I go along. And so then I submit my files,
Awesome.
but it's so nerve-wracking because it's my first time, like, live performing because I don't go live. I don't perform live because I am fidgety and I am a
Yeah.
perfectionist and I redo things 20 times and I'm like, "That's not gonna be fun for anyone." So, it was nerve-wracking the first day, but the second day, like, I had it,
Better.
and now I'm
Did you
super
feel
comfortable.
watched?
I was watched too as visual as well.
Yeah, but did you I feel like that adds pressure, right? It's like somebody
Yeah,
looking over your shoulder
Yeah.
the whole time, like, seeing if
right.
you're doing it right, and you're like, "Okay, this is my 100th book, but why do I feel like I'm a noob at this?"
Yeah. Yeah, this
That's
is how it
yeah?
felt. But, yeah, that was just the first day jitters, you get it out, and the second day, you can hit a home run, and it went really well, and then they're like, "Yeah, this is great, we're gonna put it out," and it just released, and it's gotten some great reviews, and, I still am
That is
baffled that
crazy.
I had that opportunity because she is such an
That's
amazing
incredible.
author. I loved how in depth her characters are and were in this book, and just being able to explore that with my performance and bringing that
That's
from that
awesome.
empathetic perspective, yeah.
I have
Incredible.
a stupid side question. So you said that there's people there to like help you with like pronunciation of like words in Russian. Do they do they tell you how to say it, or do they just step in, say the word, and then you just continue with your
So she's there
script?
the whole time, like, as a face on my screen,
Oh, it's
basically.
a she.
Yeah, and she's watching
Okay.
me as I'm narrating, and then, um, I'll say I'm like, "Oh, here's the Russian part," and then she'll, like, pull up, her pronunciation if she has it, or maybe she herself was actually pretty versed in Russian because she herself was a narrator. Um, and so then she pronounced it, and I'm a good mimic, so I just mimicked what she said, or, I we have our own
Nice.
websites we
Okay.
can kind of, use, like, Forvo.com, and, how to pronounce. Thing is, what it was, there's some other website, and Youglish.
Cool.
So there's websites you can use and plug it in, and, like, there's like, "Oh, I wanna hear it in British, I wanna hear it in Russian," and it'll say that phrase and that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Did you have to do it with an a well, obviously, when you read the Russian, it was Russian, but, like, did you have to narrate with an accent?
The characters in this, no. For those Russian parts, it's interesting. Some authors don't want you to do that. They're like, no, stay in
Oh, yeah.
character. But like sometimes the character, if you're speaking that way, you want to get into the dialect.
Yeah.
And this, I believe, when I
Mhm.
performed the Russians, that you start to sound like this a little bit, and
Yeah.
so I think I found that balance where it doesn't break you
Nice.
from the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I for me, it's like when I talk too much in my forced German accent, then it, like, stays, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard to transition sometimes.
Yes, yes.
And
What's
Yeah.
your favorite accent?
Okay, so the ones that I'm most
What's the
comfortable
funnest?
using, as a narrator that I think I'm more versed in because I get requested them more often is British, just British
Yeah,
RP.
yeah.
There's been a couple of more niche British accents, like Welsh and Yorkshire that I've done in the past.
Oof. I'd have to take a whole class on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, you pretty much do. I mean, unless the author goes, "Hey, here's a YouTube reference for this actor or this character." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to this
Mhm.
interview from that actor
Yeah,
and just soak it
yeah.
in." But there's also some websites like, accenthelp.com. You can buy a package and listen to that, and, but,
Interesting.
so British and Irish are my kind of go-tos.
So when you're asked, for example, we could go on for, like, 3 more
We
hours.
could. I
Uh
am down for this.
We could.
when this is
They
all
gotta go to Pumpkin
this is you
Patch.
do have to go to the pumpkin patch, but
Oh,
this is
not yet.
so
Okay.
fascinating, Brandon.
He's not here yet.
When you are asked to narrate in a particular accent, and it's an accent that you haven't usually done, and you download the package or
Mhm.
whatever, is that something that you charge the author for, or is that just something like you consider that your self-education and you write it off in your taxes? Like, how do you
Yeah.
see, now we're going into business.
Yeah. No, I love that. I have not charged an author for, the accents.
Yeah.
I think, I wouldn't be averse to it because I mean, they're
Yeah.
cheap. That's like $30 per package. So, I mean, it's not
Oh.
to be like, "Hey, and you're gonna pay for this." Like, you take losses where you can to make sure things are kosher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's a write-off,
Yeah.
which is another reason why we have like a big narrator lunch or something. I'm gonna just, "Hey, I got you guys."
Yep.
Just gonna
Yeah.
write it off.
Uh-huh.
And so, but professional wise too, you brought up earlier, um, production companies and everything.
Yeah.
That would be cool because I want peak narration to be a thing. And
Yes.
I have plans for it, not necessarily as a production house, but I want to make sure all of the moving parts are set. And the issue is finding time for the business side of things.
Yep.
I barely have time to even put out
Mhm.
anything on my
You need to
social.
hire people.
So I'm getting to that point. There is
Yep.
someone who recently reached out regarding, "Hey, like, I noticed that you're not as active on socials." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have time." I'm like, "Well, I can edit stuff for you. What's your price?" And I'm talking about that. And we'll see.
Yep.
There's a lot of moving parts. There's multiple people to hire as much as I want to just
Yep.
do everything myself.
Yeah.
To save
You have
cost.
This
to
is the
delegate.
control aspect for me, because once in a while I'm
Right.
like, I feel like I could really use a PA, but
Yeah.
then I'm
Yeah.
like, but
Mhm.
can I have a PA? Like, can I give that
They
up?
need to be in your head. They need to know you. Like, you need to have a PA that understands not only you as a person, but the persona that you put out
Yes.
on socials as well, right? It has to fit that same narrative, or else it's definitely gonna be like, "He hired a PA."
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I don't want
definitely. Well,
to. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I feel like for me as an author, it is so important for me that I engage with my readers. Like, I am
Yeah.
so on top of my DMs and making sure that if I have somebody
Mhm.
reaching out to talk about my book or whatever, like, I am like, people come out and they're like, "Hey, can I get a copy of your book?" Fuck yeah, I will send you one. Give me your address. Like, absolutely. I wanna be on top of that, and I wanna be kind, and I wanna be open,
Yeah.
and all the things, because I think it matters, and then I'm always worried about giving that
Mhm.
up and then having something go sideways, and because it's ultimately my reputation,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's where I'm at. Someone was saying, like, even offering just to be like my PA for me, but I don't want there to be a divide between me and the
Yes.
author, especially, or
Yes.
or the
Yeah.
production company,
Mhm.
and to
Yep.
misrepresent me in any way. And I
Yes.
like to be cheeky in my emails and throw something out there, my personality, and
So
yeah.
does she.
And honestly, it's been a point of sale. I doubt this was the reason, but it is a good example of how something like that and networking can get you a gig.
Yes.
People watching,
Mhm.
Diana Bonanya. I
100%.
don't think she had even heard of me, but in our emails, because I was doing a project for Pinup, for the show by Katie Van Brunt. Victoria Connolly was my co-narrator for that, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, Victoria Connolly, oh my god!" And she narrates for Hannah Bonham Young. And in one of our emails, I was being cheeky with something. I threw out a joke, and it was enough to, I think, make this impression of like, oh, like he is his characters, like these
Mhm.
funny, which whatever. I don't want to blow my own boat, but like I can step into these roles easily. And
Yeah.
so I think Victoria saw that, and whether it was that or she like maybe just looked into my profile and saw me as a narrator, she then threw my name at Hannah Bonham Young to be like, hey, consider this guy. And so that came around to Penguin Random House, who then reached out and said, "Hey, she would like to consider
God,
you. Here's an audition."
incredible.
And so then
That's
I auditioned,
incredible.
and I got some feedback like, "I want to hear more of his smirk." So I'm like, "How many people are auditioning for this?" If she's saying,
What?
if or author
Yeah.
feedback is, "I want to hear the smirk." I'm like, they must know me. Like they must know. Like that's just like I've heard that constantly. I
Mhm.
can hear his smirk like in like reviews and stuff. And so I'm like, "Oh, okay. You've asked for it. I'm gonna bring it now." And,
It's actually so funny because I can hear it too when I was listening to Fight. Like, when do you have that mischief coming through,
mm,
which is brilliant. It doesn't always happen because some
Translate.
narrators are
Yeah.
very, I don't know what the right word is,
Broody?
but there is no diversity, maybe, or is that
Depth,
the depth? Yes.
Yeah.
Where
emotion, yeah.
everything that is read, right? And obviously, I'm a romance author, so that
Yeah.
is also mostly the books I listen to, but everything sounds broody, angsty, sexy. But like you're loading the dishwasher. I don't need you to be like that. Give me something else. Give me something casual. Give me mischievous. Give me funny. Give me edgy. Give me something
Quirky.
else
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than, and then I wash the dishes. I don't know.
So with that new,
That doesn't work
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
me because then when it does get spicy,
Right.
it's lost its impact.
There's no
But with
yeah,
you, I
yeah,
can
Lots.
I
hear
agree.
that,
I love that.
like, yeah,
So whether or not that was the reason, like in my mind, I'm like, maybe, like,
it's gonna
because
work.
then that would have, and I like was trying to like reverse engineer the chain reaction of like how I even got that up. And I'm like, I knew Victoria
Yeah.
had sent me to her. I'm like, why did Victoria send me to her? Well, maybe it was the impression that I made just in these emails. And
Uh,
so it's like the
you went
tiniest,
down the rabbit hole.
right? Well, like the tiniest things can, because I want, it's good for marketing to know and to
Yeah,
reflect on, because the
Mhm.
tiniest things, the tiniest impressions you make can have
yep,
such a domino effect into success for
definitely.
you. And if I
Absolutely,
ever gave a
100%.
I
tip to a fellow, like a new narrator coming into the space, I would say that just always be aware of that, and
Yeah,
to be happy for your fellow narrators and to be collaborative, because if you bring this
yes.
competition to the space, it can become toxic. And like
yeah,
you're gonna have that as in general, like you're gonna feel a bit of like, oh, like they got it, man, damn, I missed out on that. But at the same time, that's your friend. And I
yeah,
believe in this karmic
Yeah.
reputation of catch and release. And so
100%.
I'm at a point now, but even before, where I had this madam, right? I got madam. But there was also this big contest going on with all the wave of narrators I grew up with. And I chose not to engage with that competition just in case I did win, because I'm like, this was my big break. I don't want to then take what could be a big
Mhm.
break for them as well. So you share the face, you share
Yeah.
the success, and I believe
Yeah.
it comes back to you.
Oh, I 100% agree, and I think that, if you give kindness, you're more likely to receive it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always happy to share a new release or whatever of a fellow author because it takes all kinds of kinds. Not everybody's gonna love my books, just like
Mhm.
everybody's not gonna love somebody else's books, right? That's just how it is, and if I can hype up someone else, maybe they're more likely to hype me up. Like that, it's all word of mouth ultimately. You just put your best product out,
Totally.
but if nobody talks about it, nobody listens to it, nobody reads it, you're not going to get anywhere. So kindness and being collaborative and rather than competitive definitely goes a long way. Plus, again, that reputation, because ultimately I realize like how connected everybody is somehow. Like with Carmen, and then I mentioned to you that we had Carmen on, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, no, I know Carmen." I was like, "It's such a small community."
Yeah.
And I also know you're gonna be at Spicy Reads next year in
Yes.
Chula Vista,
Mhm.
where I'm gonna be. And it's like, it's such a small ultimately, it's a really small community.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
so
it's
they
and
it all
Carmen and I
ties
I
just
back
had a
together.
I
we
had
have
a
a couple books together. What was that?
oh, no, I had a brain baby, so
Okay.
I had a thought. So, you said that, you're trying to backtrack as to how you got there, right? I work in an industry where we do exit interviews. Would that be something that you could request from the author or the people, or just say, "Hey, we're done, project over, had a
Sure.
great time. Would you mind doing an exit interview? What did you like? What sold you? Like me to you?" Because then you don't have to think about that, you just have it outlined
Yeah,
from it could be something I don't know if it's something that's in the narrator world, but I think it'd be
Yeah, I
beneficial.
mean, I think generally I have an idea, because when an author reaches out directly, they're
Mm.
already letting me know, like, how they found me, or it'll be usually, like,
oh,
DM on my
nice.
Okay.
socials, and then maybe even reference to, like, a video or a comment on one of my videos. So I'm like, "Oh, well, they found me on my socials, probably from this video."
Yeah,
Or they'll usually,
Yeah.
I'll just be really excited, and you can get the sense of how they found you and why they found you. But for the bigger authors, who are going through like publishers, you really don't even communicate with them. You just communicate through the publisher. And it
yeah,
is a point of
That's
contention
fair.
that, especially publishers, but production companies as well, they don't want you to go behind them during production to talk to the author regarding anything about the book. But, if it's personal,
interesting.
like, yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a great idea, especially if you're unsure of how you got picked up. Um, at this point, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure I just have my platform has grown to be this freaking monstrosity, and it's just crazy. But I know starting out, I was curious. So, even like when Podium found me, I had like 6 books under my belt. And so I asked
Mhm.
them directly. I'm like, so just out of curiosity, how did you guys find me?
Yeah.
And they straight up said
Mhm.
TikTok, and we were impressed with your website. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew I
Nice.
should have been. I was okay with investing in my website. I knew that was going to be a big thing. Um,
Yeah.
and those questions definitely help you with knowing that knowledge going forward and what's important.
Mhm.
Website, okay, important, but also social media. Even production companies, even publishers,
Mhm.
Podium will find you on social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So
That's
when you're
crazy.
narrating and you work with a production company or a publisher, you can't like chat with the author. But wouldn't that be helpful, like for prep stuff, to just hop on a call with the author and be like, tell me about these characters. Where do you see this side character going? Are they getting their standalone? Are there accents? Are they growly? Are they like, what's their personality? Wouldn't that be helpful?
So generally, they're
Mhm.
already supposed to have that information. It's the times
Yeah.
when like that's not provided, when I feel the most tempted to reach out directly, especially if
Yeah.
on a time crunch. But I know it can cause issues if the production company or publisher finds out, because it's just there can be a
Yeah.
liability there of like a miscommunication, right? Because
100%.
oh, you've communicated this with
Sure.
the author, but we weren't aware of this now, and maybe a new pronunciation that wasn't translated, and now their engineers catching it. But then you have to go, oh, well, the author told me this, but they're like, hey, why did you? You're supposed to go through the official channels, and I understand why, but it is tempting to just be
Yeah.
like, okay, come on, just like real quick, just tell me like, what is who's this
Yeah, I
character?
mean, as an author, I'd
This
be
is
like,
Yeah,
"No, just
yeah.
reach out to me because who's gonna know better than the person who wrote the damn thing?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
or
Like, but
listen to
that
me.
just sounds like extra
Okay, I
steps.
just wanted to check in.
Okay, yeah, looks like my car
Yeah.
guy's
I
here.
just wanna check in. Okay. I
Oh
was just
no,
gonna
you
say,
guys
it
are
seems
cutting
like
out.
you were ready to
Perfect.
go. Okay. Perfect timing. Are we back or are we good or
You're both, like, so blurry. Okay, here we go. You're coming in now a little bit. Perfect, perfect. Okay.
Okay. So let's do
It's
our
your car
outro
guy.
so we can get you out of here. You can go to your pumpkin patch. Yeah, car guy's
Go
here.
to the
So
pumpkin
I don't know
patch.
if you've seen Hot Ones, where they kind of throw the camera to the person who's there and they can kind of tell them what they got coming up. So I'm going to do the same thing. Brandon, we've had such a fun,
So much fun.
educational, spiritual journey with you today. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking the time to come on to our baby podcast and talk with us and just genuinely had such a good time. Before we let you go, the mic is yours. Let the people know what you got going on in your
And
life.
where
Will
they can
do.
find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Brandon Francis Narrator, TikTok, Brandon Francis Narrator, I think, at peaknarration.com. He's knocking on the door. And the recent releases are Carrion by Amara Calderini, Here's the Thing by Susan Henshaw, and People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Brandon, for
Incredible.
Thank you both.
Thank
for
you.
hanging out with
Yeah.
us. Have fun at the pumpkin patch.
Will do. Thank you both.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.